Hi friends, I'm Les Mood, your host. Welcome to the Destination for Innovation series brought to you by the City of Bakersfield and Green Tech Network. Today we're in beautiful Fresno, California with a special person, Julie Hurd. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Les.
So Julie, could you share a little bit about yourself, maybe something that the world or your associates don't know about you?
Yeah, one thing that I like to share is that that most people don't know, unless they went to high school with me, is that I'm an American farmer degree holder. That's the highest honor that can be bestowed to an FFA student in high school. So that's like one of my huge accomplishments.
Wow, that's really cool. Actually, I think of my daughters, you have red hair like some of my daughters, and I think of them because I would love them to be in a program like that. I'll have to share that with them.
It's fantastic. Yes, I raised dairy heifers, steers. I was on leadership programs, public speaking. It's a great program for kids, especially in the Central Valley where there's agriculture prevalent.
Yeah, that's a really young age to start learning and doing things. In terms of your career now, where would you say your journey began?
My professional career also began in high school. I worked for a large animal vet, an equine vet, and interestingly enough, my boss, the vet, was a 4-time world champion senior pro bull rider. And it was a family-owned clinic, and let me tell you, they taught me the value of hard work.
Wow. Yeah, I bet they did. And speaking of hard work and all the good things that you're doing these days, could you share a little bit about what you do today, what your day-to-day looks like?
My day-to-day, yes. Generally, my schedule gets filled up with meeting with businesses, industry that is looking to move to California, bring innovation here, find opportunity in California. A lot of that gears around removing carbon from our atmosphere and becoming a more cleaner, environmentally friendly planet. And you hear in the media a lot of things that are discouraging about climate change and you know how bad things can get, but every day I have the pleasure of talking with businesses and innovators and engineers that have solutions to almost all the problems that we're facing today, which is very hopeful.
Yeah, you know, speaking of problems and challenges in your time in what you do, could you share some challenges and maybe some triumphs associated with those that we could learn from?
Yeah, let's see. So my economic development career started about almost 20 years ago. Right out of college, I started working for Madera County Economic Development, and I was their business development marketing manager. And so I've had a lot of experience being in this field. Of course, going into it, I had no idea what economic development is. It's definitely a niche career. And I would say that being in economic development, you have to get comfortable with rejection. You're going to talk to a lot of businesses. They're still trying to figure it out, and you get excited about what they want to do and the jobs that they want to bring to your community. But with that kind of investment, it's really hard to make a final decision, or that final decision you can guarantee that it's going to land in your community. So you go through a lot of trials, but when you finally get those projects that stick, the people that are excited about being in your community, I can't speak of a greater gratification of knowing that these people are bringing an investment to your community, they're bringing jobs to your community, and they're bringing innovation and something that's going to make your community, and in cases the world, better.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the community and the world, making a better place, do you have some advice that you would like to share?
I think number one in college, the number one rule that I found was never to assume. That it's a great rule of thumb to follow in life, to always follow through, to always make sure the communication is the same between parties, especially when you're dealing with large projects. But there was also a book in my past that I read called The 4 Agreements, and that's one of the agreements is to never assume, to speak impeccably with your words, to always do your best, and to never take things personally. And I like to follow those rules. I think they're a great rule of thumb, especially in the business sector.
Yeah, I think this is really important, especially in the work that you're doing with so many stakeholders and parties and the results that come about from keeping your cool and doing as you just described. So this next part of the interview is more of a thought experiment, like
Okay.
to not think about all of the things holding us back, but to think about how we can move forward with all of those possibilities. Are you
Sure.
ready? Okay. So the first question is, what is some low-hanging fruit that people can bite into to make the world a better place?
I think low-hanging fruit from my perspective and my day-to-day is just communities and businesses and industry being aware of what's available, the resources that could be available to the certain industries that they're doing or the certain focus that they have. And I think that it's really important to be involved in your community, whether that be joining your local chamber, showing up for city council meetings, and just hearing the conversations about what is being talked about and what the goals for the community are, what are some of the weaknesses, some of the things that need to be addressed, and stay plugged into that network, that local network, and whatever network is in your industry. And also to link the public and the private together, which is what my job is, and to know, like, just reach out to your representatives, to people like myself and say, hey, Julie, what resources are available for a business like mine? I'd like to learn more about what the state has to offer, what incentives there are. And maybe like today, there's not a grant program or there's not a tax credit that's available for your business, but with so much federal funding being piped through the states right now, there's a good chance that something might open up in the future, and at least you'll be ahead of it, not finding out about it after the fact.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I really appreciate the forward thinking that you personally have, and I can vouch for how good of a job you do bringing people together
Oh,
at the
thanks,
state,
Les.
and it's been very productive. Any engagement with you is always very productive, so much appreciated. In terms of bigger challenges, what are some of the bigger things that we shouldn't ignore as we try to make the world a better place?
I would say for the state of California, affordable housing, having more of that. The high cost of housing is definitely an issue, which also leads into our homelessness problem. Sustainable and affordable power and water. I think those are just some of the big ones that come to the forefront of my mind. They're all challenges that need to be tackled as soon as possible. And I think the best way to do that is to collaborate with our communities to find out what the best solutions are. Maybe not is a one-size-fits-all, and to stay in conversation. And of course, we're not always going to have the same perspectives or point of views, but I think at the end of the day, we all have a common goal is to address these and to tackle these issues because they are things that hold us back.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Housing and energy are vital towards making things happen. And in fact, that's one of the reasons I love Bakersfield is more affordable plug in here Bakersfield. But, the housing and the energy are going to be vital towards
Sure.
growth. And we have that. We have the space here in the Valley to do that. But in doing things and making things happen, I'm curious what you think the role of community plays in that.
I think it goes back again to staying in connection with each other, networking with each other, being in collaboration with each other. It's definitely going to take flexibility on all sides, right? To come to solutions, but also I think it's important that if you see a need, to bring a solution forth instead of a problem. I think that that's such a huge thing. It's really easy for us to be critical of things, but to bring solutions and to talk about what solutions could be effective and how you could tackle those, I think helps with the forward momentum of addressing those issues and being successful at getting past some of the challenges. You may not be able to address the whole issue at one time, but it's baby steps.
Well, speaking of time, when you're looking back and at your career and your legacy, what would you like to see come about as a result of all of your efforts?
For me, and the reason why I was interested in having this position with the state is I'm a Valley native. I am very familiar with our agricultural climate and the needs around that. I'm also, aware that, our environment under a threat, and that we need to do better and we can do better. And I think for me, making sure that the resources that are available by the state is communicated down at a local level at what businesses and industry can be taking advantage of. A lot of times I'll meet with manufacturers that have been in the Valley for 20 years and they had no idea that they could get sales tax credits, or that they could, apply for a loan guarantee, or, get some sort of benefit from the state. They just, they're stuck in the day-to-day. And I want to just make sure that people understand that there are resources out there and that they should take advantage of them if they can.
Absolutely, and you are a tremendous asset for the community. So certainly encourage people to reach out to you. As I can't emphasize enough, I'm personally vouch for how amazing it is to draw those connections together, public-private partnerships, and to proceed. Now, in terms of your work at the state and your understanding of California, living here as well as working for the state, and obviously California is known as, the first mover, and, as things go in California, so goes the rest of the nation. What role do you see California playing in dominating or helping develop the clean energy future, as Governor Newsom said, California forward left?
Yeah. One thing that I take a lot of pride in, and that all Californians I think should take a lot of pride in, is that we're a global powerhouse. We really do. Whatever happens here in California reverberates around the world. We are a state that has the most engineers, the most scientists, the most patents, the greatest workforce talent, I would argue, in the world, right here in California, thanks to our educational institutions and our private sector and all the job opportunities that are here that give people that experience. I think that that's what makes California so special, besides our beautiful sunshine.
Right, absolutely. Well, we're here because of the city of Bakersfield, and, Bakersfield is known as the energy capital of California. I'm curious what you see, or the role you see Bakersfield playing as the destination for innovation in California.
Yeah, I think Bakersfield has positioned themselves in a very unique place as opposed to the rest of the state. Bakersfield has done an amazing job partnering with their educational institutions and linking them with private industry in order to advance many technologies that are they're being expected and asked for to continue to hit our climate goals, right? And I think building upon that talent in Bakersfield is also going to give you guys, Bakersfield, a competitive advantage for those jobs and for that industry. And I think that it just takes the whole community working together for a common goal to get there. And I think that Bakersfield is doing an excellent job at that and is a great example.
Thank you so much. And in terms of the community and people who are watching, where can they reach you? How do you recommend that they reach out to you?
Okay, yes, the best way to reach out to me is email. So julie.herd, Herd, at Go-Biz, GOBIZ.ca.gov. They can also reach me on my cell phone, which is area code 916-696-1919. And I am happy to meet with anybody that wants to have a conversation, link them to locals, link them to state resources. We have permit specialists also on our staff. Just think of me as the front door of the state. If I don't have an answer, I can get you to the right person.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for taking the time. It's a beautiful park that we're at today, so thanks for showing us around and coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Les. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining us on the Destination for Innovation. That's it for this episode. Be sure to connect, collaborate, and create with Julie, and we will see you next time.